So you were saying something about liking candy.
Candy? I love candy.
I'm Cole.
I'm Nick. Oh, we don't have our names on.
Yeah, names are for idiots.
Yeah, everybody knows who we are. Ooh, let's...
This week in comics, this week in comics, this week in comics, this week in comics, yeah.
Yeah.
This week in comics.
Hey, the champ is here.
The champ?
The champ is in the house. Hi, Steve. Sam. Oh. Hooray. Hello from New Mexico. Is it hot in New Mexico right now?
I don't know.
What time is it there?
It is probably 2 to 3 hours. So it's either...
I just always ask that because I feel like it's super cliche when there's like somebody from slightly different. You like that, Sam? It glows in the dark too. The burrito, the Radiant Burrito, it was called, from Radiant Black.
Yeah.
Custom made by
the names are here.
Anheuser Designs.
Oh, hey Taylor.
Hey Taylor.
So
it's new comic book day. I read maybe the least amount of comics that I have read since we've started doing This Week in Comics.
I'm probably pretty close with you on that.
I only read 7. This is one of the first times that I don't have a top 10. And oddly, cheers everybody. Oddly, it's not.
Cheers.
I mean, there's a few more I obviously could have read, but there's so many books that I've been reading just to read them that I've kind of gotten away from it a little bit. And it's not because I think they're bad. I might come back when the collections are out and stuff. But I was getting burned out on some of those for sure. Uh-oh, we got Leggy Cole.
We're at the beginning.
You're frozen on my end. I don't know if you're frozen on everybody's end.
Yeah, I probably am.
Probably am. Haven't you read anything yet in my adventure? No! Adventure Man is a book that I did not read yet because I want to reread 1 through 3. Is it? It was 1 through 4.
Yeah, 1 through 4.
And I didn't want to take the time today to devote to getting through all of that, but I did buy it and I will read it maybe tomorrow or Friday. I'm very excited.
Since you said that, I will take a point to say, oh yeah, hey Roxo. I will take a point to say that you probably made a very good decision, because while this issue was still very good. Whoa, that's weird that Adventure Man didn't come into like multiple shops, it seems like. But I would agree with you that rereading the 4 issues is probably well worth it for this, because I did read that.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit as hard as the other ones did, but also I kind of forgot a lot of it because it's been a long time since that came out.
That's what I was like. I couldn't even tell you the premise. I know that there was books and it...
Yeah, it's Matt Fraction.
Matt Fraction, yep. And
Clayton Cowles on letters, and the Dodsons do art and colors. I mean, the art is fantastic in this book. If you haven't read it, it's got amazing art. I mean, the story's great too, and it is a YA book, which is really cool. All right, like, I mean, it's maybe like, it's not like it's not like everyone, but it's like younger, I guess. I mean, like, that's where, if you're in our Discord, there's a what the butts. And that was from here. But yeah, I mean, it's
pretty clean. It's pretty PG.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got some fighting. It'd probably be like, like there is some stuff, but nothing
like old PG.
Yeah. Yeah, like
90s PG.
But there's not going to be a boob or a butt.
No.
Just what the butt.
Right. But no actual butts.
But yeah, I definitely think I'm probably going to go back because I mean, it's only 4 issues and it was good. And I might even buy that cool hardcover because I think the hardcover is only like $15.
It's 25.
25
if you're buying retail. I almost grabbed it today because they had 2 or 3 of them at our shop, and it was like, ooh, maybe. But I'm planning on doing a yes,
yeah,
sex criminals. I'm planning on doing an in-stock order pretty soon, so that might be just the perfect thing to just like throw on top to get me into free shipping territory, kind of a thing.
I know it's even cheap on like Amazon too.
Yeah, you might be able to get a little cheaper there. Maybe I'll do that, but I hate getting comics from Amazon because I feel like they just put them in an envelope and just send it to you.
I think that there was something the last time I got one. I feel like they put it in a better thing.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
Maybe like a bubble mailer, but there's still not extra.
Yeah.
I gotta tip this up. There we go. So yeah, Adventure Man was good, but nothing.
It's good.
You think it was just because you haven't read it?
I think it definitely lacked on not reading the last one in so long.
Yeah. Well, then I'm glad I waited then. Well, we're in that territory. Or you have a few more than me. Do you have a few that you know that you read? Well, I can do one because I know we talked about crossover a little bit beforehand. Crossover number 8, which this book, incidentally, I dropped at number 6, but then the Zdarsky did it, and I was like, well, I got to buy the Zdarsky one, so I bought that one, and then I read this one, and I really liked it again. It's always been that book that's right on the edge for me, where it's like I like it, but I don't necessarily love it, but it always has just enough where I want it. So I ended up still buying it. I didn't add it back to my polls, but I grabbed it off the shelf. And my favorite thing is that it starts with a little previously in crossover.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
And then it has, I'll just show it because if you've read it, you'll.
The only thing is like
it's not a spoiler, but it's all zoomed out pages from the previous issues.
Yeah, which is I mean, yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Which is great.
Yeah, it was funny too because I read that and I was like, shouldn't it be previously on? But then I was like, well, I guess it's not technically a TV show, even though I'm going to say that it was a episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. This one is very, I don't know if you'd call it breaking fourth wall, but it's very aware of itself. I think it kind of breaks the fourth wall in a lot of ways, but it's kind of jokes on comics and stuff in general. It was nothing like mind-blowing or amazing or anything, but it made me chuckle enough that I was like, all right, I'll buy number 8.
Taylor was not a fan of it.
You didn't like it? I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
Also, this is hurtful. The one too many is just the singular one of me. So I miss when you used to like me.
Ouch. So yeah, I didn't change the banner.
Yeah, that could have been on me too.
Or is it brand?
Yeah, it's under brand.
Crossover. There you go. Now we're
great.
Done
I don't know.
We're done talking about crossover.
This is one of those books too for me personally. Like I think Donny Cates is a good writer, and I think it's fun. But I think like I kind of wish I read this in trade because I feel like you get all those pops where it's probably like, bleh, and I always say that, and I probably should just wait because this would be like an easy book to just do that with.
It would be a good trade weight book for sure. I mean, I always think most books are good trade weight books.
Yeah. I don't think you read this, but it is Deathstroke Incorporated #1. It's DC. It's Joshua Williamson. I really actually enjoyed this. So the team mechanic of it is there's this new thing called Truth or Trust. I don't remember, which maybe says something about it, but it's pretty good. I liked it. It is kind of like so there's another book out by Marvel by DC that also came out today. It is called Checkmate, and I think this book kind of does what I wanted Checkmate to do. It's pretty much going to be like a little fun adventure romp with Deathstroke and Black Canary, and Deathstroke is trying to become good, and Black Canary is kind of there.
Which one's Deathstroke again?
He is this guy.
With the eye
Slade
patch?
Wilson.
Is that the
Yeah,
eye patch?
he was
guy?
on.
Yeah.
If you watch Arrow, and yeah, thank you for coming in on this, Carlito. Did you read this? Did you pick this up? I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know too much about Deathstroke 2. So it's kind of one of those weird things as a fan of not so much. I don't know. But also, Carlito, this is what I'm drinking tonight. This is Sazerac Rye. I know you're a big whiskey person, and Nick's got
Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, 100
which
proof.
is solid.
It is. It's a good.
Yeah,
it's good Hounds whiskey.
Yeah, I would say Deathstroke Incorporated is like definitely worth reading on DC Unlimited when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if you're looking for like a fun little team up book. I think that it's probably worth getting on. You know, if that's the book that you're missing and stuff that's coming out currently.
Speaking of things, I'll use this as my since I have less than you. Things that are good to read if you have DC Unlimited or DC Universe Infinite is I just read Endless Winter, and I know a lot of people. I heard a lot of shade and a lot of negative things about Endless Winter while it was coming out and while it was a thing. And I only read it because I decided to catch up on the Flash stuff that I hadn't read, and like the very third issue or something is like the kickoff for it. So I was like, all right, all of them are on now, like all the tie-ins and all the main books and stuff. And I thought it wasn't like great, but it was good. It's a great, if you have the app, you should just check it out. Go read through it.
Is me personally, the reason why like I got kind of like not into it is that it was like I subbed like 2 of the books because I think Flash and Justice League hit it.
Flash, Justice League, and then there was like 2 or 3. There's like a Black Adam one shot and like a Swamp Thing one shot.
So it's like I kind of pulled some of the books where it was like it wasn't even worth getting these issues.
No, I think it was worth reading all of it if you were going to read
like
it.
I didn't want to grab the other ones because it's like, why do that?
No, I don't think I would have been super happy with if I had pulled them all, but I wouldn't have been disappointed. But it was just, I mean, it was after all the burnout from Future State. I liked it way better than Future State.
Well, this was before Future State.
Or before Future State. So it was after...
this was right after Death Metal.
Death Metal. Yeah, which I bought all of those. So I was just like burned out on it. But it was good. I would recommend reading it. And if they collected in a trade, maybe it would be worth picking up if you like that kind of stuff. DC stuff.
And it's Viking-y.
Yeah. It's cool. It's got a couple parts for sure that I liked a lot. So
it's got a couple parts for sure that Nick liked a lot. So I remember that.
A couple parts I liked. Mm-hmm.
Another book that I read that I don't think you read, and I read it digitally, so I don't have a cover, is DJINN. I think it's pronounced Jin. Jin Hunter, number 3. This is a black box book. That is by Jay Sandoval, who wrote On the Ropes. And he does some like Zenoscope stuff. I know Poser had him on his show once. This is it's pretty fun. It's like I don't know exactly what jinns are, but they're kind of like I think genies. So it's like genie hunter stuff. But it's black box books. It's got awesome art. The story is kind of like pretty fantasy-y, but they kind of are time traveling. In this one, they go to like a different area, and it's pretty. I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's got really good action. So if you're like looking for like kind of like an action fighty book, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's like this female jinn hunter that goes around killing jinns. Hey, Will.
Hey. I like time travel stuff. So
yeah, and well, this one, yeah, because the first 2 issues are kind of in there, and I don't know if it's like a time travel, but they kind of like jump around, maybe, or maybe she just portals out to a different area in the current world. But there's kind of that kind of stuff going on. Which is, so I mean, I don't know. I think we actually have the review copies of those. Oh, 3 of them. So if you're interested, you can go.
I
back
might
and
check that
them
out when I am gearing up for Black Hammer binge pretty soon. I'd like to finish up American Vampire first, and I'd maybe like to catch up to King in Black. So I have 2 trades and like 17 issues on King in Black. I don't think is it done in print, King in Black event?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's 3 months old. I don't think the last issue is 3 months old because I don't think all of it is on there yet. But maybe it is.
There's only like 5 or 6 issues.
Yeah. with all the tie. I don't know if there's extra tie-ins afterwards or not.
One of the tie-ins went long. I don't know. I wouldn't know what the tie-ins were loosely usually.
There's so many of them, but I'd like to catch up on that, and then I want to go through Black Hammer, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna buy the library edition books or if I'm just gonna go through all my floppies. But there's still stuff that I haven't read in the middle, and I need to I need to go through and make sure that I fill in all the missing stuff, because now there's stuff starting to happen in Reborn and Visions and stuff that I'm like, I obviously don't know a connection or something here. But anyways, that's a tangent.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, he had a giveaway for 200 subs, which congratulations on 200 subs, and I happened to win it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it includes King of Black, all variant covers.
Ooh.
And one of them is the Scotty Young, which I didn't get, and I was really bummed that I didn't get that one, because that is one of the coolest of the ones.
Cool. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you for being happy for me. I'm happy for you for being happy for me.
This is another book that came out today. Batman Reptilian.
Number 4.
From who was it? Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp. Liam is of Green Lantern fame, and I just want to point out, I said something on, I don't know if it'll show up. It's not going to show up. It's really hard to see, but this baby who's been painted, the UV, the spot UV is just on the eyes.
When you shook it, like, when you were looking at it, you could tell. Well, I could tell. I don't know if you could tell in the audience. Leave a comment.
Yeah, well, you can see the reflection there on the light bulb there. But they're green, and I barely noticed it at first, and the light caught it just the other way, and it sent a shiver down my spine. It was so creepy. The book is, it's weird, man. I don't know. It's some weird stuff with like Killer Croc and Batman, and it's not really like any other Batman book that I've ever read, which it is Black Label. And it's good. The art goes between like, I wish it was brighter so I could see more, but then also like sometimes it just makes you kind of like get into it a little bit more, and take a little bit more time with it. And then there'll be these crazy splashes of color for different characters like Joker and stuff that just really pops off the page. And it feels like he's kind of like with Green Lantern. I felt like at the start the artwork it was good, but it wasn't anything standout. And by the end of the series, it was just incredible. And it feels like he's hitting his stride again with it. So,
yeah, I know the first issue for me, it was pretty like
really
what you're saying about the dark. I didn't really like that, and I was kind of like, I don't really know what's going on with this, and the story seems like maybe not the kind of Batman story that I want to read. So
and it took a turn that I'm like, I can't show the back of the book because it'll give it away. I don't want to give anything away because I know there's people that are reading it and behind and stuff, but like just even this first page, you can't really see any. I mean, that's the problem, right? You can't really see anything. And there's been a few times, there's one thing specifically that happens in this book that it's like I know from dialogue and stuff what happened, but you can't really get that from the art itself. But it's not necessarily bad because of it. It's just it is what it is at this point. Interesting book. I don't pull a lot of Batman, so I don't feel the Batman oversaturation. Yeah, when people complain about it, it's like, well, I just I only pull like one or two things, and it's usually this Black Label stuff.
I'm currently pulling 4 issues of 4 different Batman series.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you definitely can do it, but you don't have to buy them all.
And one of them I probably shouldn't have even I got I don't know, Batman Urban Knights. I haven't even read a single issue of it, but I'm saving them all, and I'm gonna read them all at once. And
it'll be fun.
I probably should have just gotten the collected edition. But
yeah, maybe.
But hey, this is where we are. And speaking of Batman,
Reptilian, it's good.
I forgot. I read an issue that I did not have on my little listy poo, so there's definitely not going to be a graphic for that. But it was an issue that came out today, and oh my god! Now I'm trying to look at my list, and I made a mistake. But here, I'll just show you. Well, it's not that big of a deal. I just ruined the format. Die number 20.
20.
This is the final issue of Die, and
I almost grabbed it.
Yeah, dude, this is sweet. It's a sweet cover for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Die number 20. It was the final issue, which is kind of sad for me. I really like Die. I think it was a fun story. I like the ending. It kind of gave an ending. There's a character that I really like in here that I thought that they did a kind of a cool way to like let the character be the character, which was pretty cool. Kieran Gillen has done a good job writing this. It's a little bit, I know a lot of people, this is one of those books that I feel like people either love or they don't like. And a lot of people are just like, I read that first arc and I could not get into it. And there's some cool stuff that he even mentions with the first arc. The way that they end the story is not like, it doesn't end in like crazy action, which might upset some people, but it ends in a way that it's wrapped up pretty fine. And if they wanted to come back and make more of this, like,
you could.
Maybe. But
yeah.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought the end was good. I think they gave the characters like a good way to kind of finish their stories, quote unquote. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I've been loving this book. Stephanie Hahn's art is fantastic. Like, I don't know. It sort of reminds me of like Martin Simmons kind of, but maybe like a little bit like smoother or like cleaner, I guess, where they're kind of like, I don't know, more painty-y. I don't know.
I have the first volume trade. And I read it and I liked it. I was expecting like D&D meets Jumanji, which it kind of is, but I guess the idea I had of it in my head isn't quite what it was.
You wanted to be funner.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I wanted to be funner.
It's a downer.
Yeah. And so like I guess I wasn't ready for it, but I still have the trade. I still plan to reread it. And now that it's done, I might wait and I might hoopla through like, because it'll probably be 4 trades. Right?
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5, depending on what
4
they do.
4 or 5. So I might read like on Hoopla through what is available now, and if I'm like into it, then maybe I'll like buy a hardcover thing or something.
Yeah, because I mean it would probably be 2 hardcovers.
2 hardcovers, yeah. I would be down for that if I really like it, because I didn't not like it. It was one of those that just wasn't what I was expecting, so it got put aside.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I think the quote is on the back here. Oh, this is the wrong book. But yeah, there's like they actually.
I'm not a huge D&D guy, so it's not.
They got the person from Game Workshops. Wait, what? This never mind. This doesn't actually do anything. That's just a quote that has nothing to do with this. Weird. I didn't realize that until right now. But yeah, there's a quote on the back that apparently has nothing to do with this. Okay. But yeah.
Let me find it here. Aha! Superman, Son of KAL-EL, number 3, by Tom Taylor, DC Comics. This was in my pull box, even though I don't remember asking to have it pulled, but I've been buying the issues off the shelf. So maybe I was like, just add it. I do that sometimes. But I wasn't planning on continuing to pull the full thing. I just kind of wanted the first little bit in case it took off, because they'd be harder to find later on. And I got to tell you, I got maybe quarter to halfway through, and I'm like, I got to message them and make sure I get this off my pull. I love Tom Taylor, but I'm like, this like, I like it, but I'm like, this can wait for DC UI. Like, there's nothing that like so special. Like Nightwing right now is so good that I can't not have that on release day. Like I can't wait the 6 months for that. But son of a bitch, the thing this book keeps doing is that by the end of the issue, I really want to read the next issue again. So I'll probably still get number 4, and I'll probably do the
2 issues and still haven't read them. Just
no,
because
they're good.
Well, I ended up getting the first issue in a Walmart pack because I went to Walmart and I saw it and I was like, oh, I never got that first issue. Maybe I'll grab this pack. And then I found the second issue, so I grabbed that.
So first of all, well, you're not reading it, so you're of no help. So maybe if anybody is in the chat,
what are your thoughts on?
Well, also because you don't read regular Superman or Action, right?
No,
or any of those. Because so
he retired. I don't think that
it can't be a spoiler
anymore.
It can't be a spoiler, but Superman apparently is leaving Earth for something, and I don't know what it is. But Superman has to go away for a while, and it's been threaded through these first 3 issues that Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El has to leave Earth, and his son is taking over the mantle, and is the new Superman. So what he's doing with each issue is he's kind of taking old Superman tropes and stuff and updating it with John and being like, well, this is Superman now, and this is the Superman that the world that we have now needs. So it's very current, with things like police brutality and picketing and just all kinds of stuff. Take your pick of stuff that's going on in the world, and he's touching on some of it. So it's like one of those where it's like, it's kind of cool, and I like to see that. But again, overall, I could probably wait and read it on my subscription and have the money to buy something else. But it's just one of those things. By the end of it, it's like, well, shoot, I need to maybe I need to see what Superman is up to, because apparently he needs to leave for something. No, it's part of the new now. It's part of the new contract. We're not.
That's how I got to come on your show. #Team Jacob.
It's a court order that the 3 of us are not allowed to be in the same place at the same time, even if it's digital.
Yeah. And so in the back of the book, it actually does mention this. And the one thing that I did want to mention about Die that I kind of forgot about is that in the final, so like, I think they rewrote the ending to deal with what is sort of happening within the real world today.
That's good. I like books that have a not foreshadowing, but kind of a allegory or a little something about.
Son of Kal-El is Bearded's pick of the week, so maybe you guys have different thoughts on it.
No, like I said I like it, and I'm gonna keep buying it, but I keep wanting to not, and he keeps. Yeah. By the end of it, it's like I start reading, and it's like, yeah, I can do without this, and then by the end of it, it's like, no, this is really solid
also,
stuff. Tom Taylor's killing it.
The bags and boards that our shop uses, I think they use some Silver Age ones, and they're way nicer than the normal bags.
He had to dip into that because he can't get regular stuff.
Yeah, well, I like these.
Their shipment isn't coming in.
And I know that's the thing, but last week we were talking about how there was like an extra edge back here. But let's just give the fans what they want. Roscoe has mentioned Something is Killing the Children, so I think we should talk about that book because I totally agree with that. Something is Killing the Children. I've heard a lot of people hated this arc. They hated the backstory. They hated the origin.
No.
And I get it. I think the thing that made Erica a great character was that there was so much unknown there, right? You had no idea. You had no idea what was going on in this big organization. But now they're creating a world. And I guess this is the thing. If you don't want Something is Killing the Children to keep going, yeah, there's that. And that was like mid-book. But
yeah,
I mean, if you don't want Something is Killing the Children to keep going, then that's it. I mean, this issue tells us what the different masks mean.
I know. I actually sent
awesome.
I sent a message.
You and I were talking about a certain kind of mask that we wanted to wear for a certain sort of football team that we cheer for together, that we both root for. Oh, and now that I know what those masks do,
I really want one.
I really need to have that.
I sent a message to Trevor. I'll say the color because I don't care. Because I won't say what it means. Yeah, but I have that screen. I took a picture of that panel, and I'll be posting it on Twitter probably later in the week. But I want a green mask.
Yeah,
so bad.
So Nick and I both cheer for Michigan State when it comes to college football, and they are green and white. And yeah, the green mask, we need them. And can you just get me one too with Trevor, please?
Yeah, if I end up doing it, I'll let you know for sure. I mean, I will, but yeah. Yeah,
so Nick is a BUTT and cheers for probably the team that you might like. Well, I don't know. You're from Chicago. You currently live in Wisconsin. He's a Packers fan.
Yeah,
so
I don't think I have a cheesehead around here.
But yes, it is always super sad face for Lions fans. But like this year, you know what? I've just kind of leaned into it. Like I kind of like that first game. After the second game, I was like, they're not going to win any games that mean anything. So I'm going to watch Red Zone and cheer for fantasy football. But I've been loving what they're doing with Something Is Killing the Children. I should probably read that free comic book day book because I did not.
Oh, it's so good. It's so you don't need to read it. They basically take the book so far and condense it. Ooh.
Well, hey, maybe someday I'll come and watch a game with you. You can take me as your guy before Nick.
No, bring a real Packers fan first.
Also bearded. Look at this shirt that I'm wearing. Isn't it nice?
Taylor, have you added anybody in your will or anything for those yet when you're done with them? Or we'll talk later. They're like will. You have to like. That's the only way to get them is to like know somebody, and that's awesome. Derailed. Yeah, Something's Killing Children. House of Slaughter free comic book day is like a condensed, basically like what got us here so far. Oh, so okay. It's in fact, I'm gonna hold on to my copy for like I'm thinking about reading that and then the second arc kind of a thing as a like quick catch up kind of a thing.
Awesome.
But it's a fun little reminder of everything.
Hey, what time is it in Australia right now?
Hey, what time is it there? Is
also,
it hot? What's the temperature like?
Yeah. Well, it's their winter. No, it's our fall. So it's their spring.
Your spring.
Also, hey.
Hey, Lee. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've seen or talked to you. Ooh, this one won't take me very long to do because if you're not reading Undiscovered Country, then there's at this point we're at 16. We're in the long haul. Grab the trades as they come out. This one has been maybe my favorite arc, but I really liked the last one too. And this should be coming to a close for this zone of America. If you're unfamiliar with the book, America sealed itself off from the rest of the world, no communications in or out, and the inside has been changed into these different zones, and each zone is kind of a different part of Americana, or a part of the country. And this one they're into America storytelling, and this one's about like music and American music and songs and stuff. But it's a cool little it's a very cool journey, but it's a lot to take in too. So trades is really good for this. But if you're like me and been picking up singly, I like that book a lot.
Yeah, I've actually, the way that you described that season, I kind of think I might be interested in a little bit.
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know if you would be able to pick up and read just individual arcs necessarily.
I have the first 5 issues, and I read the first one and was like, I'll wait to read the rest of these.
The second one is definitely like, oh, I see what they're doing. Like it's, you kind of, once you get that into it.
Also, another book that I read digitally is
That's the way to go. Oh.
Night of CADILLACS. Number 1. This is from Scout Comics. I really like this book. It's kind of the art. I don't know what to compare the art to. I really like the art. It's really good, but it's kind of like weird and it's definitely unique. But this book is like deals with kind of some like street level gangs. It might deal with time travel. It might deal with like multiverses. I don't really know. The main character kind of doesn't understand things. And the other guy's like, I'm not from this world, but I know all these things. So there's like these different bike gangs. There's some violence. It does some cool like random panels. Also, we heard when we had David on our show, he told us, I think this is the most pre-ordered book from Scout.
Wow.
And like, it was funny because he was like, I bet if I tell you this, you guys have never heard of it. And I never heard of it. And it probably wouldn't have been on my radar if he didn't specifically tell me about it.
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not heard about it. I'm assuming it's coming in the next Scout box for us.
Yeah, I would guess. Yeah.
I honestly keep I keep Scout books off my radar now that I get the Scout box. And when I get them, I look at the cover and go, okay. And I have no idea what the synopsis or anything is, and I just jump in with it. They're the only books I do that. Usually I read up on them first and kind of know what I'm getting into. But with Scout, I've been keeping it kind of in the dark a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of
not that I care, but
yeah.
if I found out, but that I just don't know ahead of time.
But I think I kind of said, like, there's some like motor car violence, which kind of, for some reason, it made me think of like Mad Max, even though it's definitely not post-apocalyptical.
Most I have yet to come. I've yet to like have a book from Scout that I wanted that was not in the box. I've yet to run into that. So I think all their main titles and stuff.
They have the October list up right now.
Oh, so. Shit.
Alrighty. I would guess this would be in there, but I don't know the exact answer.
Okay.
And I don't remember. So if you find the girls of Scout Comics, they're on Instagram, but they're also on Facebook, or maybe Girls of Scout Comics HQ. They definitely have a video where they show all the issues that are coming out in the box. So if you want it ruined, you can go in and you can look at it. But yeah, this was a fun book. If you kind of like it deals with like kind of gangs, and like there's a lot of unknown mysteries in this first issue that we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's not listed on the October box.
Right, it would come out because the October one comes out at the end of the month.
So it'd be
in the September box, which shipped yesterday.
Oh, so I guess we'll find out in a couple days. We'll let you know in a couple days, Will.
Yeah, and I think he gets a Scout box too. So,
or you'll know, I guess, in a couple days.
I have another book that I think we both read digitally that I'll bring up.
Yes. Human Remains, number one.
This is
Aftershock? No, Vault.
Vault Comics. Yeah, it's Peter Milligan is the writer.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.
This is a book that when I got to the shop, they handed me the stack, and it was in my stack. And I'm like, I didn't ask for this. I'm like, are you sure this isn't? Because sometimes, like, you'll ask for a book and they'll accidentally put it in mine or Todd or something. They get the three of us confused sometimes. So I'm like, you sure this isn't for Cole or anybody? And he's nope, they didn't have it on there. So I'm like, well, I guess hold on to it for me. And I'll look into it to see if I want to start another new series. And then I found in my chat with them that I definitely in June was like, hey, can you add Human Remains number 1? So I don't know. I must have seen it in previews and thought it looked really cool.
The concept is great, I think. Personally, I like it. So the idea is that like there's these monsters and or aliens and or unknown of some sort that eat on human emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So like the horror is like, don't have emotions or you might just fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like a black hole like opens up and just like these things come out and just it like shows up at a wedding where people are like crying and happy and
the main part of the story takes place like the main characters that are on the cover. It is their wedding. So like obviously weddings are very high emotions for everyone, happiness, sadness, whatever. He lives in Florida too, so he gets that quickie Florida buzz. At least I think so.
That makes sense.
But he is a Browns fan, so he might be just as bad in football as I am, except the Browns might be good. Haven't read it, but sounds very Peter Milligan. So Peter Milligan, I have read some books that I've really liked of his, and I've read some books that I have not really liked of his. And this one I liked. I think it's a good concept for a horror book. I think it's pretty fresh. Maybe there's other horror books that have similar thoughts to this, but it is to me it's very fresh.
Not exactly.
Fresh idea, but like something it's something very basic, but also seems like I've never personally seen this concept.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna end up buying it and keeping it on the poll and seeing, just because it's in that horror wheelhouse. that I've come to find that I like so much. So it's like,
Yeah.
We'll give it a whirl and see how it goes.
Give it a whirl.
We'll give it a whirl.
So if you guys are fans of Dota 2, name that character. Hey, welcome. We're talking new comics. Oh,
Horror-ish. Horror-ish. I got 2 more.
2 more. Okay, I've got 5.
5? Well, you do a couple then, and don't do mine.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know one of you. Well, you might have one that I don't have.
Yeah, I have one that you don't have because you dropped it. Maybe. Oh, no. No, you didn't.
No, I didn't drop it, but I don't think I read it.
Okay. And the other one I have, I don't think you read it.
The other one, there's one that you have that I do have on this list.
I'll put it in.
I know that I have one of them because it was your top book or in your top 3.
Yeah.
Thor number 17.
Ooh.
Donnie Cates. I know that Travis, friend of the show, is not here currently. Yeah, those were the 2 that I would guess. He really loves this book, and I read it hoping that maybe he'd show up and listen to me talk about it. I really enjoyed this. It brings in Thor's mom. I think the cool thing about it is that she is riding a fucking giant black cat, and if you know me, I have a black cat. His name is Batman. He's dope as hell. This Thor arc has been kind of weird. It ended in a place that I'm kind of excited for. It's been 3 issues in this arc, and it's kind of like Thor coming to like wanting to figure out what he wants to do with himself. So I don't know. He's kind of having a lot of emotional conflicts between himself on how he wants to move forward and how he wants to deal with it. And he gets to like kind of hang out with his family. There's a Spawn character in this issue, which I think is just generally mythology.
Oh.
But yeah, I've been liking Thor. I think that a lot of people like the down buff, but
you're all choppy. It was my 2 pick of the week in my hot or flop video for Thor. Thor is one. Cole, you're frozen and can't hear you. I might do Thor after King in Black for my Marvel binge, but I also might go back and redo Daredevil. Because I was really loving that, and then I got away from it. So I might reread and catch back up to that. But I heard, was Thor like really good early on, and then it kind of dipped, and now it's coming back?
I never not liked it.
Okay.
But the art that people really didn't like, I read altogether. Because it was like Donald Blake or Daniel Blake. I don't know. It's Thor's alter ego thing. And there was an arc with that started kind of slow. I know that like New Guy Ryan did not like that arc. I personally liked it.
Marvel Max.
Oh, also welcome.
I don't know what that is, but hello.
Oh yeah, and apparently Angela was in the Spawn verse, but then yeah, there was a whole thing about that. I actually was listening to a podcast talking about like the weirdness of like Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane on that, which I don't even remember. Oh yeah, it's Donald Blake. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't like that arc. I liked it. I mean, it was more of a slow burn. I don't think I've unliked. I mean, there was.
I don't mind slow burns.
I didn't read the annual, but I know that I think Steve said the annual wasn't great.
In fact, I almost love it when I get like 3 or 4 issues in and I'm like, man, I don't know. What am I doing? And then all of a sudden it starts hitting and it's like, oh, and it makes everything worth it. I almost prefer that.
I don't even remember. What is the Hammerfall arc? Oh, that must be the current one. And yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like this, but I kind of waited to and read the last 2 issues together, which was probably better, I guess.
That helps.
So you didn't read this one either, which seems weird, but I'll just show this book. And say something.
Unless I forgot.
You definitely, well, you didn't, it wasn't one of the ones. BRZRKR number 5.
No, I don't read BRZRKR.
This book, I said it on the last issue, and I'll say it again. They're definitely figuring out what to do with BRZRKR, and I think it's personally maybe starting to get good. I mean, I've really liked the last 2 issues. They kind of, it's weird because they kind of had to do this big setup to get to where they're doing, and it kind of just seemed like endless violence. But now it's starting to make sense. And now,
I mean, that was the part of the book I liked.
Yeah, now they're getting into like the emotional stuff, and like it's starting. I personally think it's starting to kick. I mean, I would guess that other people might not love it. I don't know. I mean, I like this issue a lot, like compared to the last issues.
If I could buy every comic I wanted to buy with 0 consequences, I would definitely be still reading that book because I enjoyed it and liked it. And if I didn't have a book like Firepower or Barbarian or some of those other books that scratch the same itch, then maybe I would be still pulling it, but it wasn't quite enough to stick with it for the monthly cost for me, is what it came down to. And I don't read the review copies of it because they put their watermark over the whole thing, and I'll just wait until it's in a trade, and I'll buy the trade and read that.
The first one is in a trade. I would assume it's on Hoopla because they come straight to Hoopla. I've personally already spent money on hardcover versions of all 3 of these trades.
You need to restart your computer, Tyler.
Yeah, if you restart, continue watching this, restart the computer, come back, watch this in normal speed, then watch it in 2 times speed, and tell us which one's the best.
Yeah.
But also, Tyler was on our show on Monday. Him and I talked about a book from Jeff Lemire, and Ignacio made fun of us because he said Jeff Lemire does not need to be boosted. But hey, to be fair, I think that we're all pretty big Jeff Lemire fans, and I don't know if any of us have read The Nobody.
Fair, I am not on the Substack, even though I probably should be. And I did not know that was a thing. So I watched the boost, and that was the first time I heard about it.
Oh, that you could get the actual thing. Yeah, and like it was funny because he was like, I know how much you guys like to do.
I mean, I looked up the book. I found a damaged copy on eBay for like $28 that I almost bought. But it had crazy printing errors in it, and so I didn't. But
yeah, another thing you can do
sounds like something.
When we're done after this, you can just go back to a previous video. Maybe like the trivia one. And you should watch all 3 hours or 3.5 hours or whatever of it.
Is that how long it went?
See that for that. But you can watch it in 2x speed too if you want.
Or 0.5.
0.5. Oh, yeah.
And then we sound even drunker than I am.
You are.
Or was.
Yeah. I am. I think you can kick it back into it now because I think now we'll be.
I got 2 and you got 2?
I got 3, but I read one of the ones you won. One of the ones you read. So
where did it go? Oh, there it is. All right, let's do Cinnamon. Number 3.
Number 3.
Which hits just as hard as 1 and 2. It is I love this book so much, man. I don't know if Happy Tank Behemoth does trades.
They do.
They do. Then everybody that's not pulling this, you should check out the trade, Hoopla, library, whatever you need to do. It's one of the most fun comics that I'm reading. You know, there's not any crazy serious thing. It's switching between the perspective of a cat owner and a cat. So
what the cat thinks life is.
This one, the cat is fighting with here's your cat, here's Cinnamon, and this here is what the cat thinks of the laser pointer. That, you know, so it switches from this massive action fighting scene like this of a cat battling this mech robot thing to then it switches and the owner's like, ha, little cat. And it's just, you see this little cat just running around. And it goes through all the little different things, especially if you own or have owned a cat. A little bit of both. You'll like this.
I think that of all of the issues of this so far, this has probably been the one for me that maybe like hit the least.
Yeah,
but
it's fair because it's kind of still the same thing.
Is the second issue, but they add in some more seriousness to the second issue.
Yeah, and they add in. I like that they kind of made. It kind of makes fun of itself a little bit, and it does a little bit of fourth wall break in that sense, or it makes light of the medium it's in. There's a character that is a spider that Cinnamon is talking to in a bar, and at one point the Cinnamon's leaving, and she's like, "Goodbye, spider person that you're a spider," and basically like is like, "You're a and then the spider's like, "See ya, I'm a throwaway character without a name, and maybe you'll see me again someday, maybe not." But there was just a need to have a bartender. It's fun little stuff.
Also, the writer / artist of the story's favorite food is mac and cheese, and she goes into saying that she likes anything from Blue Box to fancy mac and cheese. So
Victoria Douglas.
Yeah.
Victoria
And
Douglas.
I know that this was kind of a story she made for a college course of some sort.
Yeah, she includes on the last page, like an original page of the original stories that she did writing about her cat. It's cool. It's fun. It's nice to have a book like that that's light and not all crazy serious like my last one that I have.
And then another book I read was Robin 6. I actually read this while we were pretty much right before we started. That's why we were normally 1 minute later than the normal 2 minutes late that we normally do.
Yeah. I'm like, are you reading a book still?
Yeah. Well, because I was like, yeah, I know Nick kind of comes late, so maybe I can finish this. And it's another Joshua Williamson. So apparently only the Joshua Williamson books are the only 2 DC books that I read this week. But I like this. I think it's fun. This pretty like actiony, fighty issue. So there's not a ton. I mean, at the end, it kind of gets into it a little bit more. But if you don't know, Robin is on the island of the Lazarus, and he's fighting.
Nice.
But that was issue 6.
Oh, that's right. I pulled number 1 and then I let it go. So
yeah, I read that. I talked about it probably like
top of the hour
ago. I liked it. I think it's good. I think if you're looking for a fun buddy DC book, it's a good book to get. But if you're not, I would still think it's worth reading on the DC like EU app or whatever it's even called now.
UI,
that
DC UI.
it. But it's fun. I don't know if I'm going to I'll probably get the next one and we'll see where it goes from there. I know Carlito was on here earlier and he's a huge Deathstroke fan. He said he wasn't sold, but he's definitely still going to buy it. So that was Robin 6 in a slight nutshell. It's hard too, because it's like in the middle of an arc. You can't really go into too much without really spoilering things, but they're starting the tournament for real this time.
Yeah, I was very interested in that book, so that's one that I will definitely be reading late and catching up on. My last book. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know it's like one of Todd's top 3 DC books right now. I would still think for me, it's in the top like 5.
It could be with me because I'm not pulling very many of them, but for polls, anyways.
Sorry if I spoiled anything there. I thought that it was.
My top DC book right now. What was I reading?
It's
Endless Winter. This is one of my top DC books right now. I gotta read those Marvel Infinity comics too on Marvel.
Ah, dude, I'm so butthurt that I have like 3 of the 5 issues of that, or 8.
Of what? Oh, were they in print?
They're all annuals.
No, I'm talking about they're digital only and they're like webtoons.
Oh,
it's like a scroll.
Oh, interesting. Maybe
thing. It's on Marvel Unlimited now. They have them. They're cool. My last book doesn't have a thing because I might not have had it on my list for when Todd made these for us earlier, but that's fine. I'll just do that. it was nominated for 4 2021 Eisner Awards, including the Best New Series. I was really hoping that issue 13, being the book of what it is, that like number 13 would be like an all-out banger and just absolutely crazy. It wasn't, but
I have not read it yet.
It was still very, 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 very good. I love this book a lot, and I need to go through and reread again from the beginning. But this brings in a lot of Cole's story, not you, but a different fictional character. Cool. Although there is something in this book mentioned about Cole that maybe you would want to say that you're the same as him in those regards.
Best mustache on the comic burrito?
No, he. I'll read the sentence. Maybe I won't. I'll let you find it on your own.
All right. Well, I'll probably read it at some point.
You'll read it and be like, yeah, okay, I know what he's talking about.
I'll just post it on our Instagram.
But it does bring back his star-faced demon guy, and dealing a lot with that. And I really loved the Bigfoot stuff, but now it's kind of getting back into its main groove, and I'm definitely here for it. So, Department of Truth is probably my favorite Tynion book right now.
Ooh. I would maybe say for me it's probably Nice House on the Lake. But I do like Something Is Killing the Children too.
I'm not reading that. That's my thing. I can't decide which one I like. They're very different.
I can tell you my least favorite Tynion book and be 100% certain on it. No, well, I mean, I'm not currently reading Wind, but it's Batman.
Well, he's done now, isn't he?
No, he's still got.
He's still got Oh, that's right. It was just in previews. I think in December he's done, maybe.
Yep.
Because the Williamson was in. I just got done before the show. I flipped through previews that I guess came out last week. They forgot to give it to me.
The final issue we're going to talk about this week is
The Good Asian
number 5, which is really weird because this is issue 5. The first trade came out, so I'm guessing this is only 8 issues because the first trade came out, and it's Pornsak Patachuk. Lee Luffridge is on colors. I love the art in this book. I think this book is great. It's definitely, if you're like into noir crime stuff, it's good. It also deals with a lot of like early 1920s like race relations with Asian people. I've been loving the story, and this kind of definitely goes back into like a more of the backstory and less with like the current what's going on. Yeah, it's been great. I really like The Good Asian, and I think it's a good, pretty record. Like, it kind of hits a lot of things I like. Like I'm big into crime. I'm big into like crime noir, and it's great art, and it deals with that. I mean,
see the noir. I like crime, or not crime noir. I like horror noir a lot, but it's got to be like that.
Yeah, there's no horror.
Very particular with my noir.
I definitely forgot to read the last issue.
I
kind of forgot to read this one, but yeah, it's. I know Todd has been really liking it. I really liked it too. It definitely deals with that like kind of sci-fi. It deals with a little bit of D&DS, but I'm just got behind on a few issues. I'll probably just end up waiting until the trade comes out and just read the whole trade.
That's what I'm starting to do with, or that's what I was going to do with By the Horns, but it keeps getting solicited more and more, so I don't know when it's going to end. I thought it was just going to be 6,
ongoing.
But it's ongoing. Okay,
yeah, they turned it into ongoing.
So if it's ongoing, then I need to just go back, reread it from the start, and just go along for the ride. Then,
yeah.
I think I stopped at 5, going when 6 comes out, it'll be final, and I can read it all together. And I didn't.
So you said how many issues did you read?
I only read 7.
7. So we'll do our tipsy 7.
Unless you count, 8. I have 8.
Our tipsy.
I can go 9 if you count Endless Winter.
Okay, well, I'll just do 10, and then you can come in.
Okay.
So my 10 is Adventureman number 5. My 9 is The Good Asian number 5. And your 9 is Endless Winter.
My 9 was Endless Winter from 6 months ago.
My number 8 is Night of CADILLACS, number 1 from Scout Comics.
My 8 was Superman, Son of Kal-El #3, which I loved. I always have to specify because people always give me shit about whatever book was on the bottom and like, oh, you didn't like it. No, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and that's how I think. I mean, there were like maybe my 13th book of the week I wasn't super into, but you're not even gonna know which one that is.
You won't know. You'll never know.
Yeah, what were we at? We were 8. My 7th was Robin #6.
My 7, which is interchangeable with my #8, was Batman Reptilian #4.
My #6 was Deathstroke Inc. #1.
My #6 was Crossover #8.
My #5 was BRZRKR #5.
My #5 was Undiscovered Country 16.
My #4 was Human Remains #1 from Vault Comics.
My #4 was Human Remains #1 from Vault Comics.
Nice.
That's a well, it's not bronze. I don't know what 4 is.
Yeah, it's like a copper burrito.
It's a copper burrito.
It's a penny. My #3 was Something Is Killing the Children #20.
Ooh, my #3 was Cinnamon #3.
My #3, or my #2 was Thor #17.
My #2 was Department of Truth 13.
And my #1 was Die.
My #1 was Something's Killing the Children #20.
That was there for a long time for me.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I love the backstory. I like characters with like mysterious backstories, but then I like finding out what they are, especially when they are as well done as Tynan's done them, or this at least.
I've got some of these books.
Harley Quinn 7 and Darkhawk 2. I don't know anything about that either.
Harley Quinn's solid. Who's
doing that?
It is Stephanie Phillips, and
yeah.
So the first 5 issues were Riley Rossmo on art, which Riley Rossmo is one of those artists where I don't love, but like he's an artist kind of like Scotty Young, where I don't want necessarily to maybe do a book that I'm reading, but I really like their variant covers. Right. But he fits this Harley Quinn book perfect.
Yeah.
And but he has not been on the last arc. Maybe I don't know.
Is that stemmed from Future State, or is that something different?
Sorta. I mean, it kind of more goes from the Joker War, but it's technically one of those Infinite Future books or whatever the fuck they're calling them. But I like Harley Quinn. I think it's good. I mean, it's kind of Harley Quinn has joined the Bat family loosely. She's trying to be good, and she's got this guy named Kevin who's got some like mental issues that used to be like a Joker guy, and she's trying to help him also like rectify himself and become good. So I mean, it's cool. It definitely has some like
reminds me I have to get my Harley Quinn White Knight series out, because at some point I stopped reading it but still picked up all the issues. And the other day I asked our shop, I'm like, when does more White Knight Harley Quinn come out? And they're like, Nick, that's over. They're like, that's been done, man.
It's complete for sure.
And I'm like, really? I got the whole thing? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I got to pull those out and read them.
but what Taylor says here, I think is completely perfect. But I think his art fits very good in
for this.
There was also, he did an issue or 2 of Knights of the Monster Men, which was like a Batman Detective and Nightwing spinoff and early Rebirth. And he has this one scene where it's like the Bat family standing in the rain, and you see all of the cowl, like all the caves, and it looks great.
What is this shit? Because I didn't read Harley Quinn.
Yeah. That you didn't know that it was done.
That's fair.
But it was a weird number. I think it was 3 issues, maybe it was 4. I have no idea.
It was like 4 or 5.
Finished it,
or maybe 7
months ago. I feel like I finished it when there was snow on the ground.
Probably. That's why I honestly, like I said, I fell behind, and I was waiting for like number 12 to. I'm like, I'm just gonna read it all together.
Oh, I thought this was supposed to come out today, and I didn't get it.
You're right,
so
because
I'm guessing a paper shortage.
Well, they didn't say anything, and we were talking about 7. That's right. I thought it was 7. What we were talking about paper shortage at the shop today, and Don was like, "Yeah, it might affect certain books," but he didn't say anything about.
I feel like there were a lot more DC books that I got that I didn't think I was going to get that came out this week.
But that was one of my most anticipated books of the week, And
yeah, me too. Well,
I
mean,
didn't
get
even
both
realize it didn't
covers
come
of
out.
that. So it couldn't have been that one cover was damaged because I get both of the covers for Strange Adventure.
Yeah. Did anybody that's watching get Strange Adventures or see Strange Adventures?
I don't think I saw it on Bearded's pickup, and usually I think he gets it, but maybe he doesn't get it.
That's a bummer. Although it does give me time. I was a little disappointed that it was coming out this week because I wanted to reread the whole thing leading up to the last issue. So this gives me at least another week to not do that and still be disappointed with myself.
Taylor says it was delayed.
Delayed.
So if we missed anything that you guys think that we should be reading, let us know. Oh, he wanted to rant and we both thought that was a clever comment. Woof, twice in a row. But yeah,
you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say anything negative about a.
This is kind of a weird book week. Like the top 5 of my picks, I really was into. I don't think I really disliked anything, but yeah.
I was really into my top 4. Undiscovered Country, Crossover 8, Batman Reptilian, Superman, Son of Kal-El were all solid books, but they weren't like, oh man, you're an idiot if you're not reading these.
And this has been kind of a week too, where it's like, you ever have that where you're just kind of reading and you're like, I don't know if I want to read a comic book right now.
I've been like that for a while, aside from just certain random things. It's like I just want to read these random like Endless Winter and King in Black and just random issues of whatever, and going back to some other stuff that I've read before. And I've been in a weird mood with books, so I'm not getting the 20 issues done of new stuff. I like sometimes it's good to kind of go back and revisit something or grab something that you missed out on before, where it's not maybe the most current, but
one thing I've been doing is I've been trying to read on like Thursdays and Fridays. I take my lunch break and I try and find a trade that is just like one single story, and I go out in my car, roll the windows down, and just read it.
Nice.
And it's been nice.
Nice.
I read a book that you actually recommend. Oh, welcome, Adrian. We're about to end, but thank you for stopping in. I read a book you actually burrito boosted once, The Girl in the Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually sent it to somebody else who was saying they had commented on a post that I posted on Instagram that they wanted to read it. And I was like, hey, to be completely honest with you, I really enjoyed that book. I think it's a good book.
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to read it again. And I got the trade used from Goodwill.
Oh, nice.
On Amazon. Apparently you can buy trades used from Goodwill on Amazon. And I just, I was like, here, I'll pay it forward to you. You can read it. And if you send it to somebody else, and we'll start a train of a book club.
It is a cool book, and yeah, it's one that I read as it came out. It was from Dark Horse, I think, and I read it as the issues came out, and then I reread it all together before I did the boost.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's a cool time travel-y book.
Psychedelic, yeah.
Psychedelic,
horror.
But yeah, it's not one that like I would necessarily sit down with and reread all the time.
That's where it's like too. I'm trying to find these things where it's like, hey, I just want to hear. I want to talk to people about books, because I think we read some books that a lot of people don't, and it's like, hey, if you can talk to me about this, let's talk about it.
They're mostly crappy.
I definitely.
You got to stop buying those.
Yeah, I'll tune in tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'll tune in. I'll see what you have. I mean, there's still some books that if you look, I had a huge freaking stack of books this week. And I don't know, I pulled a lot of stuff. I should probably drop a few books, but I always hate it when it's like a book where there's like 6 issues. And now I'm at issue 4. Do I just buy the other 2 so that I can sell it as a set if I hate it?
I do. I have to finish a series or at least an arc, or else I feel like, because I mentioned earlier with like slow burn and stuff, I'm never confident enough that I don't like the book. I'm like, maybe issue 12 will make it all worth it, and I'm on issue 3, but so I'll pull all the rest of them.
Throg. I think that's what that's all about. Also, yeah, great movie. #banger alert. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
We need a graphic for banger alert.
Also, I watched that with my mother-in-law, and I was talking to her about how, like, I don't know, it's the girl, I don't know which one she is. She's like the shy one that goes to Greek, and then she meets a Greek dude who's like handsome, and I was like, he's handsome, and she's like, he's not handsome. I was like, maybe you need to check your eyes. So if you've seen The Sister Out of the Traveling Pants, is the Greek dude handsome or not? Let us know. Burrito banger, I do like that. And it's just gonna be like a weird dude. All right, well, I'm Cole.
I'm Nick.
And this has been fun. Thanks, everyone, for having me.
This has
Yeah,
been,
see, he is so handsome. Thank you for agreeing with me, Adrian. Yeah, Greek dudes are handsome.
This week in comics, this week in comics, this week in comics, this week in comics, yeah.